Well, it is absolutely transforming right now. I think mobility is the major disruption in the market. I think many corporations still collaborate via email, via SMS. Yeah. Some have room systems for video and do that form of collaboration, but the best collaboration is, of course, face-to-face. I think over time and what's happening today is a massive transformation in the way people are collaborating and working together. And it really is around mobility. People using their mobile devices, their smartphones, their iPads and tablets and other devices to collaborate and work. And what's happening today is they want to be able to do the same level of work, have the same access to applications and services that they have in the office on those devices, including being able to interact in real time, being able to use video on those devices, be able to IM and presence capability to know where they are, when they're available, and I think that is changing the way people work. In fact, most people are connected all the time now. It used to be, I used to talk to my dad about this, where he would go to work in the morning, read his paper on the train, do work all day, read his paper at home, on the way home, and when he got home, nothing would ever happen. Nothing. He'd spend time with the family. But today, that's totally changed. People are connected all the time. And the expectation is that regardless of where they are, what device they're on, that they're able to do the same level of work anywhere, from any place, on any device, in any location. So work is really not where you go anymore. It's what you do and what you do it on. And so it has changed, I think, businesses, how businesses collaborate internally, how they collaborate with one another, how they collaborate with their customers, which is just as important, and their partners. So there's a massive transformation happening in the market, and I think we're at the early stages in APJC. We're moving from mobile carriers, mobile phones, to smartphones and other devices, which is going to transform the way people work. I think it's going to be a very immersive product. They're going to be immersed in the technology. Visualization is going to be a key component of their lives in everything that they do in terms of how they work. And so although we may not be together physically, we're going to be together virtually in the same way. And the technology is going to advance at such a pace that allows us to communicate and collaborate together as if you were in the room and we were doing this video and you were 1,000 miles away. It wouldn't matter. You see the massive transformations, transitions that are happening in technology today. You can't even imagine what those will be 20 years from now. Whether I can collaborate like this while I'm in a vehicle, on a plane, on a train, it doesn't matter. And I think technology is moving so fast, and clearly we're blowing Moore's Law out of the water, that 20 years from now, our children, the technology that we use today, they will laugh and they will giggle about the capabilities we had today 20 years from now. Just when we look back and you think about 20 years ago, the type of computing systems that were available, the type of access that we had, storage arrays that filled up entire buildings. Nowadays, that's done in the palm of your hand on an iPhone S, as an example. 64-bit capabilities to be able to do all of these services virtualized or native on a single device like that. That a long time ago took, or not that long ago, 20 years, was a computer that filled up this entire room where we're doing this interview. 99% of the devices potentially in the world are still unconnected to the internet. And when you think about the Internet of Things, those devices will soon gain access to the network to allow for more productive work styles, better analytics, interoperability and integration with other things on the network. There'll be less legacy and proprietary, and it'll be brought forward and IP-based. So today, I don't know the exact number, but I'd have to say between 15 and 20 billion devices on the network today. In the next 5 to 7 years, 30 billion more devices will have access to the network. And so those devices have been isolated. They're either using legacy protocols, they've never had access to the type of information that's available on the internet. And so you think what's going to happen is that all of these potential services, manufacturing, and a manufacturing plant for retail, oil and gas, mining, they've all been running systems and services, potentially on their own protocols, and it's worked fairly well. But now we start to bring it into the realm of IP. We begin to do what I like to call multi-protocol capabilities. We're moving it from whatever legacy protocol they're running to IP, and now giving them the access to the breadth of thousands and thousands of applications and services and tools that weren't available in that limited space. And that's what the Internet of Things does. It opens up everything and gives them now access to the network. I firmly believe this, that it's more business relevant now than it ever has been, because we're at the cusp of something very interesting. Now we're going to inundate the network with all of these disparate devices entering them. I mean, we're talking about 30 billion more devices joining the network. We're talking about cloud and new cloud services and new consumption models where the network is going to have to provide a level of service. And what the Internet of Things does is create the mechanism, the frameworks, the architectures to allow all of those devices to what John likes to call become awakened, to be able to gain access to all of these services and capabilities that in years past they haven't been able to gain access to. The cyber threats are real, and they're out there, and they're proliferating. So it needs to be top of mind to security experts. They absolutely need to be thinking about this, and it can't be bolt-on. So this isn't an after-the-fact thing, because you get yourself in trouble if it's an after-the-fact thing. Just take as an example, because it's near and dear to people's hearts, BYOD, bring your own device. Think about a device that now comes on the network. That device is owned by you. You probably at home do Facebook, you do Gmail, you have your own apps and services that you run. When you come to the office, you still probably want to do those things because it's what you do. And that's the idea of BYOD, to give you the capability to do what you do every day, but also do work on that same device. Before you enter the network, I need to make sure that, one, that device is authorized to enter the network, that you are authorized to enter the network, that the applications and services that you're currently running on your device are authorized and allowed on the network, that your device is clean, because I don't want you to introduce any threats and risks to my network. And then once you get on the network, that's just onboarding. Now I've got to figure out what services and capabilities I want to deliver to you, and where potentially you are. Because if we work from anywhere, you could be at the local coffee shop, or at home, or at the supermarket, or anywhere, and you want to be able to provide that service. And if BYOD is to come to fruition, you want to provide the same level of service that you provided in the office anywhere, and anywhere that you are. So you want to provide a legacy, a capability and a service to the user, and make sure that they are gaining a great service when they enter the network. There's a level of security that needs to be attributed to that in terms of the level of bandwidth I give you, the type of flows that I need to manage and track, where you're accessing data, what type of data you access on those devices. So that's not something you can do after the fact. Every piece of that puzzle needs to be thought of as you are rolling out a new service and a capability. So in my mind, security is fundamental to enterprise architecture. You should be looking at horizontally across your organization and across the services that you're going to provide, not in silo, because I think silo gets you in trouble. The reality is that regardless of what you do at the edge, you're going to get hacked. And it's not about whether you're going to get hacked or not. It's going to happen, or it potentially could happen. It's knowing what people do when they get in the door, where they've gone to, how they got in the door, and then preventing them from doing it and making sure that they didn't take anything that could hurt you or your organization. I think the first thing is to watch. I think one of the things that we do different than anybody else is that we are a company that really does care, listen, and is with customers every day. I mean, our model is that, you know, we're with our customers every day. We support them. We're with our partners every day as well. You know, Cisco has invested incredibly in the sales force, and account managers, systems engineers, and others that are there listening. So the first part of it is listening to customers and seeing what they're seeing. They come up with incredible ideas to solve business problems. So it's being able to ensure we have the right folks in front of customers that can learn, can listen, and then put in practice kind of the capabilities that they would like to see from Cisco around solving real business problems, around how we align technology to solve real business functions, missions, to enhance capabilities. That's number one, most critical. And then from there, when they see stuff, is to be able to bubble it up, to bring it forward, to drive a new technology innovation, to drive change, to drive new functions and functionalities and capabilities. And so through our CTO community at Cisco, which is a very active community, we're able to now take ideas, concepts, and bubble them up. And it's not just an APJC, it's across the globe, to be able to look at new ideas and new capabilities and ways that we need to innovate. You know, SDN is a great example. And it's so funny to listen to the discussions that are happening at the conference around this person's the SDN leader and this person's the SDN leader and here's where they're going. 18 months ago, analysts and others said, Cisco's done. I don't know if you remember this. We're, you know, VMware bought Nicira, Cisco's done, they're out of the market, you know, it's all about virtualization, hardware infrastructure is a commodity. In 18 months, we're now the SDN leader, you know, and from the analysts and others. And it wasn't because we had done anything creative or interesting. We had always been developing our platform around innovation. It was about how we put that innovation engine into play. We heard the market, we heard what was going on, we clearly reacted to it, and as a result, based off of, by the way, that infrastructure and the capabilities and the custom ASICs that we develop. ASICs are application-specific integrated circuits. They sit in each one of our routers and switches and IP phones and access points. Our investment there allowed us to mobilize capabilities across the hardware infrastructure quicker and more readily than others could in the market. So we have a really good vehicle through our CTO, through our distinguished engineer community, to be able to take ideas and concepts and innovations we see in the field, innovations that we hear from our customers and our partners, bubble them up, and then create some action and activity. A lot of our acquisitions, as an example, come from the great ideas of our customers, the things that they're doing, the creativity, the problems we need them to solve. Partners, in fact, have come up with several of the latest acquisitions. I think we did 15 acquisitions last year as a company. A lot of innovation comes with those acquisitions. Now we have to integrate it into our portfolio. That can get tricky and tough. Our strategy has always been build, buy, partner. If we can't build it fast enough to ensure that we are a market leader, we will absolutely buy or we'll partner. And our partner model is everything to Cisco.